to another edition of the Student Fire Podcast, live from the Speak Fire studio. My name is Bobby Berg. I'm a motivational speaker for schools, and I'm here to help you live your best life today. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Student Fire Podcast, live from the one, the only Speak Fire studio. I'm your host, Bobby Berg, and it is a pleasure to have you here. Seriously, y'all have been absolutely killing it this past week. Everyone that's been reaching out to me on TikTok, everyone that's been reaching out to me on Instagram, sending me emails even on Facebook, whatever, y'all, thank you so much. Your support this week has been really something else. I don't even know what to say. I've been really kind of down and kind of doubting myself at times this week on some projects that I just feel like are a little bit over my head, or that I don't quite have the skills to take on, and y'all remind me every single time I get in those dark places where you're like, listen, this might not be good, kid, but you can do this. And y'all, I just want you to know that you give me the strength to be me and to keep doing what I'm doing. Anyway, let's hop right into our minute of mindfulness. Take 5 seconds. I want you to do a check-in with yourself and see how you're doing. Be it good, bad, indifferent, it doesn't matter, but I want you to be honest with yourself. 5 seconds of silence and go. There. See, that wasn't all that bad, right? So this week, I want to talk about fixing things. One of my buddies had got a hold of me the other day and he said, hey man, my car is not working. The power steering I think it's the power steering. The fluid looks funky. Can you come check it out? And as a lot of you know, I'm not really well versed in cars. I mean, I've owned a 97 Honda Civic. I now own a 97 Subaru Legacy, keeping the 97 going. And, you know, every time the car breaks, I used to just take it right over to my cousin Dan's, and he and I would work on it. Oftentimes it was more so him than me, but, you know, he would do what he could with it, and he would always find a way to fix it. Not anybody that's worked on a Honda, you know, it's not really that complex, but if you don't know what you're doing, it's intimidating. Like, who here's ever done that where you're driving on the side of the road and your car breaks down and all of a sudden you pop the hood and you look at it and it's smoking everywhere, and you look at your buddy and you go, yep, there's a lot of engine in that engine bay. You know what I mean? Like, it happens. We've all been there. We've all done it. And anyway, I don't know. I'm not the most mechanically inclined person is what I'm trying to say. And my buddy, you know, I went over his house today and I started looking at it and I'm doing a quick check on the vehicle. And I watch a lot of YouTube videos on how to fix and mod cars just because I think it's cool to know this information. And I like learning. So I'm looking at his engine and I'm going, what would this YouTuber do? And I'm kind of thinking to myself, okay, let's check the air filter just to see how it's doing. Okay, it's a little dirty, but it's fine. I go check the fuel pressure to make sure that, you know, fuel pressure is working. Okay, cool, that's working. So if the car's not starting, it either isn't getting spark or it isn't getting fuel. It's getting fuel. Let's check his spark plugs. And pull the spark plugs out, and they're a little dirty, but fine. It's nothing bad. It's a little dirty. Well, then I'm going, okay, the battery doesn't look like it's all that charged, so we jumped the car, and all of a sudden, boom, started right up. And he goes, okay, cool. Well, now it started. Let me show you what it's been doing. And I could hear it, and I said, I think that's your power steering pump, man. He goes, do you think so? I said, yeah, how long has it been doing this? And he goes, about 3 months. I'm like, bro, like, I know I'm not the most mechanically inclined person, but if you would have told me that you had a problem, I would have gladly tried to help you through this in however, you know, in the best way I could. And he goes, yeah, I just, you know, man, I didn't want to bother you. I didn't want to bother anybody. And I said, dude, I'm your friend, man. That's what I'm here for. Like, no joke. If you ever need anything in this world, I don't care how bad it is, what time of the day it is, how embarrassed you are about it, call me and tell me. Now, granted, I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to rib you a little bit about it. But, you know, I want to help. I want to be there to help you get back on the road and help you get back into doing what you need to do. I want you to be back in your gift is what I want. And if I can help with that, let's do it. Well, long story short, we wound up looking at his car and I said, all right, man, your power steering pump is just, it's bad. With the way it's wheezing, the way it's whining, the way the fluid's not going anywhere, but it's angry. I said, you need to get this replaced. It's like, I looked up the part number. I said, it's going to be like a $200 replacement. That's fine. But, you know, get the whole assembly. Here's the part number. He goes, all right, man. So my brother's going to buy it. And whenever he gets that fixed, or whenever he buys the part, do you think you'd be able to help us out with it? I said, absolutely, dude. Just, let me know when it's done and I'll help you fix it. Now, all of that was done completely out of my comfort zone. That's the first time I've ever looked at a buddy's car, like done a once over on it. And I was not comfortable. I was really doubting myself a lot throughout it, but I'm going, dude, you've been working really hard at learning vehicles. You can at least take a look at it. I'm not saying you're going to get it started, but you can at least look at it and kind of diagnose what the problem could be. And I want to wrap all that up and bring that to the main issue of today. I want y'all to realize that you are so much more skilled in so many areas than you think. Like, everyone does so many different tasks every single day that you don't even think about, but you are so well versed in it. How many of you are really good with phones? No, really, like, how many people, whenever something's wrong technologically, your family goes, oh, well, they're the computer whiz, they know how to fix it. And you're like, Grandma, I just showed you how to press the on button on your iPhone. I'm not fine. Right? Like, we've all been there. We've all had these moments happen. But this week, I really want you to take an inventory of what you're good at. And not the things that you know you're good at. You're a good athlete. You're good at running. You're good at... No. I want you to look at the mundane things, the smaller issues. And I want you to take an inventory of what you're really good at. Because sorry, I should have said this in the beginning, but here we sit. One of my students reached out to me and said, Bobby, how do you know so many things, man? And I looked and I said, I read a lot. Like, I read a lot of information. I mean, when it comes to stocks, everyone jokes and says, oh, Bobby's going on an earning call, and I do hop on the earnings calls. But then I also read the transcript of the earnings call that I was just on the next morning to make sure, because I'm very much an auditory learner, but I'm also very good with, visual learning with reading. So I utilize both of them. I really make sure to go and, okay, these are your two strengths. You're not like kinesthetic learning, I'm okay with. But more so, I like watching someone do something or hearing them talk me through it and then doing it. So it goes auditory learning, then my visual learning is under that, then my kinesthetic learning is under that. And I go, well, if you know you're good at this, why don't you incorporate all three when you're trying a new task? Right? I want y'all to really find what you're good at. I want you to find these little things and these little victories that you have throughout the week. I want you to look at these little things that you've done and see how much they impact your life. I really believe that so many people don't give themselves enough credit for what they can do. You are this fantastically complex creature, and you don't even realize half of the remarkable things that you can do. I was so glad to be able to help my buddy out today, but it wasn't just that satisfaction of being able to get the car running. The most important part of it was when I was able to look at him in the face and say, dude, thanks for reaching out and help, and asking for help. This isn't a skill that I'm very well versed in, but I'm growing and I'm learning, and I'm really glad that I was able to help you out here. Because at the end of the day, isn't that what we're all here for? Aren't we all here to just help one another get through our day as easily as we can? Take a couple minutes. No, here's your homework for the week. We're not going to take a couple minutes. I want you every single day, at the end of your day, to take a notepad or take the notes app in your phone, and I want you to write down the top 5 skills that you utilized that you didn't even think about but were really helpful to someone else. Now, don't get too deep about this. This could be something as simple as, hey, Jamal's pen broke, and he said, hey, dude, can you help me out with this? And I grabbed it from him, took it apart, did the old pen trick where you blow on the end of it, it kind of forces the ink in, and you put it back together, and boom, his pen was working. That's awesome. That's a skill that a lot of people don't have, to have that critical thinking. Or, my audio's not working on my Zoom, and, now I can't hear Tina over here. Well, okay, hey, so you shoot her a text and you say, okay, do this, click this button, close out of the program, enter back in, make sure everything's set up correctly, click these buttons, and all of a sudden her stuff's working. Isn't that incredible that you have that critical thinking skill? We all can think critically, and I know that a lot of schools promote critical thinking, but to see it in real time is what I want for you. So every day, I want you to, at the end of your day, I want you to write down 5 ways you used your critical thinking skills to help someone else out without asking for anything in return. And I want to see what happens. Y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. To all the new listeners, I love you. To all my old listeners, I love you. To everyone that's just discovering this, welcome to the team. I love you all very much. I hope you have a fantastic day. I hope you have an incredible week. And I hope that you are able to take the skills that you've learned and really just dive deep on them to become the best you that you can possibly be. Because you are incredible. You are loved. You are powerful. And you know what? You're fantastic. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Reach out to me if you need. You know, my DMs are always open. Catch you in the next one. Peace. Whew, that was another awesome episode of the Student Fire podcast. Thank y'all for sticking around for this long, but I got a question for you. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? See, when I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions, like how do I record an episode? How do I get my show to apps? Like, do I have to do it individually, or can I just have one place that does everything for me? And most importantly, how do I make money from my podcast? Is that even an option? Well, honestly, y'all, your answer is Anchor. Anchor is the one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it is 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors that want to advertise on your podcast. Yes, you. That means you can get paid to make the podcast. You can get paid to podcast the right way. In fact, that's exactly what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. If you want to get in on this, if you want to make your podcast a reality and you want your success and your word to be a thing, man, you already know. Hop over to Anchor and give it a start. You won't regret it. Catch y'all in the next episode. Peace.
I got you.
It's coming. Are you ready to ignite the fire?
We are Speak Fire.
Oh, and by the way, that's fire with a Y.
What's going on, everyone?
Internal fire.
Student Fire.
Young fire. Father's fire. Leadership fire.
Champion fire.
Unlocking the fire within.
Thank you all for tuning in. Let's grow.
Speak fire.
Speakfire.com.
Speak Fire with a Y.
We have a new episode that comes out every Monday at 4 a.m. Are you going to be up with us?
Deuces.
I am excited to bring you my new book, Trendsetter, 7 Steps to Radically Stand Out to Be the Best You. This book details my journey of coming to the United States and being excited to embrace the American culture. But unfortunately, my culture was not accepted, and I found myself being bullied as a young girl. And in this process, I decided that I wanted to disconnect from my culture to be more accepted into American culture. And through that process, I got so depressed from trying to fit in that I attempted suicide my freshman year in high school. So this book talks about the journey of what I did to become radically transformed, to be the strong woman I am today. This book is something that's really going to enable the reader to understand and embrace who they are, embrace what makes them special, and become radically transformed. Get your copy today at becomingatrendsetter.com. Again, that is becomingatrendsetter.com. Or check it out at my website at aishathomas.org.